Hello friends. One of the most common questions I get is, should I stretch before I exercise? And the answer is always no. If you stretch before you exercise, you're actually going to reduce the force output of the muscles. The muscles lose their ability to contract and contract on demand, which is what you don't want to happen when you're going to work out. So one of the most common things is well, then how do I prepare? What do I do? Well, the answer from an applied yoga anatomy and muscle activation perspective is to activate the hip flexors and activate all of the stabilizer muscles that are going to support the joints of the hips and specifically the knees. So we want to get those muscles activated. I want to take you through a little bit of a routine here to activate some of the hip flexors, hip extensors, and a little bit of core here, okay? So if you're gonna do a leg day, you definitely wanna make sure that these are activated. One of the most important muscles, in my opinion, to make sure is activated is the psoas major. The psoas major is an amazing muscle. It connects at the lesser truncator, which is inside the groin. It's actually a little bit more posterior. And then it attaches there and then starts to come up through the iliac crest and attaches itself to the lumbar spine. It's one of the only muscles that really attaches to the anterior, the front part of the lumbar spine. And why is this so important? Well, when you come into things like squats, for example, the psoas is really important to make sure that the lumbar spine is stabilized. A lot of people that may not have been working out for a while, maybe that have a lot of desk jobs, and then they go to the gym and they start lifting weights and carrying weights or carrying a load as they're coming into a squat or some sort of deadlift. A lot of times their back will go out, and it's not necessarily because of the weakness of the back muscles. It's actually the hip flexors are not contracting properly, probably because of the person sitting down too much, but also because so many of us are doing these stretches before we work out. Anytime we kind of do these kind of stretches, we're going to start destabilizing the joints because the muscles that are supporting the joints are no longer going to be working. So let's get into it. Let's start with the psoas muscle. So I want you to come down onto your back, please. And let's get the psoas activated and some of the hip flexors. So to get the psoas activated, there's a couple of things that we can do, but my favorite one is just to kind of go for it. So if you're an active person, probably you're pretty strong already. What you're going to do is turn the right leg out. So you're going to do an external rotation on the right leg, bring it out to the right and lift up. And then we're going to hold that for 6 seconds. And we're just going to repeat that 6 times. So once you get familiar with these drills, as you can see, you can go through them pretty quickly. Lift it up again. And if you bring your right hand sort of about 3 inches to the right of your navel, you can feel your core activated. But if you go a little bit deeper, you'll actually feel the psoas contracting as you lift the leg up. And what's happening is you're reinforcing that brain to muscle connection, which is what we always want to do here. So lift the leg up again. This is number 4. And hold it there. Now, one of the things sometimes you might notice is that the groin takes over. If that happens, what I want you to do is come back and do another activation for the psoas. You bend the knees, you bring your right ankle just to your left knee, you bring your left hand towards the right knee, and then press the knee into the hand. And this will really kind of target the psoas. Sometimes when you do the leg lift, the groins will start to take over. More specifically, a little adductor called the pectineus. A lot of people experience inner groin pain, and there's a lot of causes for it, but one of them is because the psoas isn't working. Turn the right leg out, bring it out again, and let's just do it one more time. Very nice. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Let's do the left side. So turn the left leg out, bring the leg out to the side, lift the leg up, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and bring the leg back. Turn the leg out to the side, bring it out, and lift it up. Hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down. Relax. I always like to keep my right hand on the right hip to keep that hip coming down, and then lift the leg back up. And then come on down. And then lift the leg up. If you start doing these daily, especially on the days that you work out, but I would even do them on your resting days, and then come on down. And then lift up. Remember, if your inner groins start to take over, do that little hack that I showed you, okay? And then come on down. But you're going to notice that there's a lot more stability. Lift up. There's a lot more stability in the way that you're lifting your weights, you're going through your routine, that you're no longer feeling like you're compromising your body, that there's a lot more freedom of movement. And let's do it one more time. Lift the leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and bring the leg down. Very good. Now, one of my favorite exercises, and I saw someone do this with some bands, and so you can actually tie some bands, like a TheraBand, from your feet to perhaps like the post or something in front of you, but you don't have to do that to get the muscles activated. Sometimes when I'm in the gym, I'll actually do this with about 10 pounds of weight. So 10 pounds distributed between my 2 feet. It's not a lot of weight, but it does add that extra resistance. But if you don't have that, then you don't really need to do it. So you just simply bring the arms up to the side. This is one of my favorite ones. You should do the psoas and do the psoas activation that we just did, and do this one if you're ever going to do squats. And that will make sure that you're really ready, okay? So what you're going to do is bring the arms out to the sides, bring the knees into the chest. Now hug the knees in as much as you can, or rather pull the knees in. I don't want you to grab your knees. Just pull them in using your abdominal muscles and your hip flexors. And then very slowly straighten the legs. Now as you straighten the legs, have the feet about 6 inches off the ground, but make sure that your quads are really activated, and then lower down. Take a good, solid, deep breath here. Inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Inhale deeply, exhale. Let's bring the knees back into the chest. Pull the knees in. Pull the knees in, and then straighten the legs. And have the feet again about 6 inches off the ground. Could be even a little bit higher. That's completely fine. And then lower down. Beautiful. Sometimes I'll just relax my legs by shaking them a little bit. We're activating these muscles through a relaxed state. So we want to always come back to the breath. We always want to come back to an effortless state of mind, if you will. Effortlessness is such a deep quality, an important quality in yoga practice. The loosening of effort, Sutra 247, that's how we practice these postures, and actually how we practice life. Bring the knees back into the chest. Good. Pull the pubic bone up, and then straighten the legs, and holding for 6 seconds. That was 3, 4, 5, 6, and down. Take a breath and exhale. Bring the knees back in. Now hug them in. You might notice that as we're doing these drills, that your actually range of motion is getting better all the time. So if we actually measured it when we first started, it would be very different than what it is right now. Straighten the legs out and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then come on down. Some of you actually might have a sense of like, oh my goodness, this was a real workout. Maybe I don't really need to do my leg workout. And you're right. I mean, these muscle activations are pretty powerful. And it really starts to activate all the muscles of your body so that when you're going through your daily life and doing what you're doing, that you're actually bringing more of your body to the table. Bring the knees into the chest. Very good. Pull the pubic bone up to the navel and then straighten the legs. 2, 3, 4. Remember to firm those thighs. And 6. And relax. Take a deep breath in and out. And bring the knees into the chest. Very good. Pull the pubic bone up. And then start to straighten the legs. Now, one of the things that you're probably noticing is that your core is also activating. And more specifically, that's the transverse abdominis. Very important muscle. And then down. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And let's do it one more time. Bring the knees into the chest. Pull the pubic bone up. Pull it up. Pull it up. And then straighten the legs. Very good. And 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And down. Very good. Now I'm going to do a quick TFL activation. A lot of people suffer from tight tensor fasciae latae and IT bands. This is a very nice, simple hack. So what you're going to do is we're going to start with the right leg. Now, kind of just peek up at your legs here, or at your feet, and think about drawing a box. You're going to take a line out, and then come up, and then bring it together. Those 2 corners is where we're going to bring the feet. So 1 foot at a time. So you're going to internally rotate that right leg, and then bring it up to that corner there. And just hold it. Keep that right leg internally rotated. Don't let it come out. And you might notice that your TFL might cramp a little bit. That's kind of normal. And then bring it down. If it cramps too much, stop doing it. Don't do it. And internally rotate that right leg. Bring it up to that right corner there. So TFL is such an important muscle. It gets overused a lot, and sometimes it just shuts down because of stress, trauma, and overuse. And then bring the leg down. So getting that TFL working properly creates more stability in the hips as you're going through different ranges of motion in your exercises, whether it's like lunges with weights or squats with weights. Internally rotate that right leg, bring it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and bring the leg down. And internally rotate the leg, bring it back out, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. Internally rotate the leg, bring it back out, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. And internally rotate the leg, bring it out, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back down. Good. Okay, so let's do the left side now. So internally rotate the left leg and bring it up to the corner of that box. Nice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of the ways that you can tell if your muscles are weak, by the way, and when I say weak, I don't mean like weak. I mean like connected to the brain, like the brain isn't connecting to them, is because you actually start compensating. You can feel other muscles taking over. Sometimes it's your glute, sometimes it's your other leg, sometimes it's gritting your teeth. Okay, internally rotate that leg, bring the leg up to that corner of that square. So if that's happening, just kind of put a pin in that and notice that. And see, first of all, if you cannot compensate. Sometimes to not compensate is we just have to back off a little bit. Maybe instead of bringing the leg too far out, bring it less far, okay? and then back down. Internally rotate the leg, bring it back up to the corner. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. Internally rotate the leg, bring it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. And internally rotate the leg, bring it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. Okay, bend the knees. Now we're going to hit the glutes. So the glutes, getting the glutes strong in any kind of leg exercise that you're going to do is really important. This also actually activates the hamstrings as well. So doing bridge pose is really wonderful. Bring the arms out to the sides and then lift the hips up as high as you can and squeeze the glutes. Now push down into the heels of the feet, lift the toes up. Very good. And then come on back down. Shake the glutes and then lift up again. Squeeze the glutes as much as you can. Press down into the heels of the feet. Very good. Squeeze, 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 and then come on down. One of the things to kind of note, by the way, is we talked about the importance of activating the psoas. A lot of people deal with a tight psoas. The opposite muscle to the psoas, one of them, is the glutes. So if the glutes are working properly, the psoas will relax. You do not need to stretch it out. Squeeze the glutes, lift up. Holding there for 2, 3, 4, lift up a little bit higher, squeeze a little bit more, 6, come on down. Shake it out, and then come on back up. Squeeze the glutes, lift it up a little bit more, squeeze them a little bit more, lift up, push down into the heels of the feet, very good, and then come on down. Good. The next couple of rounds that we're going to do, we're going to kind of target the hamstrings a little bit, okay? So first of all, come on up. And in this round, what I want you to do is lift the toes, press down into the heels of the feet. Now, pull the heels towards your shoulders, and you can feel your hamstrings engaged there. So pull the heels into the shoulders, lift up a little bit more. If you cramp, come on down. You don't have to hold it. And one more time, pull, and then come on down. Whew. Delicious. Let's do that again. Lift up. Push down into the heels of the feet. Lift the toes a little bit. Feel the inner heel pressing down. So see if you can isolate with your mind's eye the inner heel. It's kind of target semimembranosus, semitendinosus hamstring. Good. Push down a little bit more. Pull the heels a little bit more. And then come on down. Good. We're going to do this one more time. But now we're going to just change it up a little bit, okay? Just to kind of make sure that our hamstrings are working and connected. So come on up, lift up. Very good. Now what I want you to do here is to just come onto the toes of the left foot and really anchor down into the right heel. Now you're just coming up onto the left toes just more for support. You can lift the leg, but for me personally, I just like to stay on the toes, but really focus my mind on pressing down into that right heel. And you feel the hamstring really engage here. Good. Bring the left heel down. Let's do the same on the other side. Come up onto the right toes. Now really isolate, pressing down into the left heel. Pull the left heel towards you. Good. Lift up a little bit more. And then come on down. Straighten the legs. Breathe in deeply, exhale deeply. Very good. Bring the hands down beside you. Pull the knees into the chest. Inhale, push the heels up to the sky. Bring the arms over your head. From here, lower your right leg about halfway. Very good. And then bring the leg back up. Lower the left leg about halfway. All of these drills start to activate, bring the left leg up, lower the right leg halfway. All of these drills are essentially starting to activate all of the hip flexors, extensors, so that you have more stability in the hip joint. Come back up. And you can start your workout knowing that you're not compromised. Left leg down. if you stretch, you're compromising those joints and creating instability, opening yourself up to becoming vulnerable to injury. Bring the left leg back up. One more time each side. Bring the right leg down halfway. Push through both heels of the feet. Nice. Bring the leg up. Lower the left leg down. And then bring the leg up. Exhale, slowly bring the knees into the chest. Bring the hands down beside you. Bring the feet down. Bring your hands to your navel. Take 2 deep breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. Very nice. Roll over. So guys, you can just continue now your workout here. I'm going to take you through one more set of drills, which is really nice to do. And quite frankly, if you're in a pinch for time, you could just actually just do these little drills anytime. Sometimes when I'm driving long distances and I'm sitting in my car for a long time, my lower back is in flexion, my psoas shuts down, my hip flexors shut down. Sometimes I'll just stop the car and get out of my car and do these like little exercises. But this is also really great because it challenges your balance a little bit, which is also important. Anything that challenges our balance is going to activate our stabilizer muscles, which is essentially your transverse abdominis, okay? So from here, slowly lift the right leg up or right knee up. Very good. And then start to bring the leg out to the side. You can see I'm being challenged right now. And then bring the knee back and lower down. Let's do the same on the other side. Lift the left knee up. So you could actually sometimes even just try doing these ones without doing the other stuff that we just did. And you can also do it all together. Anything that you're going to do to keep activating these muscles is going to not only strengthen them, but improve that mind to muscle connection. Lift the right knee up. Bring the knee out. Bring the knee back. And bring the knee down. Lift the left knee up. Bring the knee out. Again, you're not using your hands to push the knee out. We're using our muscles to do all of these movements. We're not passively going through different ranges of movement. We're dynamically going through these different ranges of motion. Lift the knee up. And then bring the knee out. And then bring the knee back. And then bring the foot down. Do it one more time on the left side. Bring the left knee up. Bring the knee out to the side. Bring the knee back. And then bring the foot down. I'm going to turn this way so you can just kind of see me at a plane. So now what I want you to do is bring the knee up. Bring it up as high as you can and see if you can straighten the leg without lowering the foot down, but also not leaning back or forward. Just keep your body in a straight line and then lower down. Let's do the same on the left side. Bring the left knee up as high as you can. Straighten the leg. This is such a great quad activator. Oh my goodness. And then lower down. If you have tight hamstrings and start doing these drills, you're going to notice that your hamstrings will start to loosen up. And we're not even stretching them. What we're doing is activating the antagonist muscle, which is the quads, more specifically the rectus femoris. Lift the knee up, straighten the leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and lower down. Very good. Lift the left knee, straighten the leg. 2, try not to lean back or come forward. 5, 6, and lower down. One more time, each side. Lift the right knee up, straighten the leg up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and come on down. Lift the left knee up, as high as you can. Now, if, by the way, straightening the leg is too much for you, just keep lifting the knee up. You don't have to straighten the leg. You're still getting a lot of benefits just by lifting the knee. 5 and 6, and come on down. Just for fun. Bring your feet a little wider. Lift the arms up. And then come into a squat. Good. And then come back up. I wish I had thought about doing that with you before we started this routine, because then you could have seen the before and afterwards. But I hope that you have some awareness to realize that when you went into that squat, how effortless it seemed, but also more importantly, how stable. When your muscles are working properly, you have more stability in your body. Anytime you stretch, you're always going to cause instability eventually, which will always lead to injury, and injuries always lead to pain and inflammation. You don't have to be in pain, but what we do need to do is start to get the muscles to work more efficiently. Thank you guys. Happy practicing, and have a great workout or whatever you're going to do for the rest of your day.